Valentine's Day is quickly approaching, and I thought this year I would show you how to make some fun little twirly pops and unicorn pops for the kids in your dollhouse to enjoy at their next Valentine party. So join me and see how easy this project is. Today we are making some Valentine hard candy, some twirl pops and some unicorn pops. These are super simple to make, and in fact it's a project I've been meaning to do on a video for a long time, but I keep forgetting to buy the candy. And it just happened when I was at the grocery store the other day. These were sitting right next to the checkout stand that I went through, and they were on sale 2 for $1. So I thought, perfect time. We can get them done in time for Valentine's Day. You guys have plenty of time to work on them, and your dolls can have some Valentine candy. So the first thing we need to do is we need to look at the colors. Now this one is, you always have a white base on these. I don't think I've ever seen them without the white base. So the candy is white, but it's kind of a pearl white. So what I usually use is Fimo Pearl. And sometimes I mix translucent into it, sometimes I don't. I'm not going to today. That's up to you. You can do that if you want. And then this one has the pink and the red stripes. This one has pink, red, and purple. For the pink, and I thought I had a pretty good match on pink. It looks pretty good. That's a Fimo Raspberry. And my red I chose for today is this one. And it is cherry red. We seem to be in a kind of a food theme here, aren't we? And then, even though I didn't buy purple because I was sure I had purple and then I couldn't find it this morning, so I mixed up some purple that's in the same color family as the purple on the candy I bought. So the first step is to take our pearl. Let me get these out of my way for a little bit. We're going to take our pearl color and we are going to roll it into a nice fat snake and get it pretty round. And then I've actually started one. I just laid rolled out my pink and my red. We're starting with the unicorn pop. I rolled these out on about a 3 pasta setting. I figured out that I was not in camera when I was doing this earlier. And then we're just going to roll this down and keep rolling and keep rolling. And I need to go a little thinner. And as it gets thinner and longer, you'll need to cut it because it's going to get really hard to handle as it gets really long and really thin. And depending on how thin you want your pops will determine how thin you want to go. I'm going to try it with this thickness. Then we're going to twist it just like we would a candy cane. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Twist it and then cut off the part that didn't twist well. Then for our handle, I have a piece of 18 gauge wire, and this is just 18 gauge stem wire. I like this because it's heavy enough that it doesn't bend. Lighter weight wires look a little more in scale, but they're real floppy, and I'm not sure how heavy this is going to be. Now we want to have just under a 1/2 inch of unicorn pops. So we are going to start here, and we are going to start wrapping. Trying to make sure I'm under camera. And this one's going to be a lot fatter than our real example. You can go thinner or fatter. It's up to you. These come all sizes in real life. And if when it gets baked it doesn't want to stay on the wire, we can use some glue. if we need to, but I think it'll be okay. Get to the top, kind of break it off. I want to get the point just a little more pointed, and there we go. That's all there is to it. And then I need to get out my, oops, my block. I showed you guys how to make these blocks a while back. So we're going to use the drying baking rack, and that's all there is to it. So I'm going to turn the camera off and make a few more of these, and then I'll be back and show you how to make the twirly pop. Alright, let's move on to our twirly pops. I like these because they had the little extra color in them. So let's take our another piece of this pearl color, and I'm going to make sure I'm under the camera this time while I assemble this. Cut a strip of this. Roll that back through. And these are just a lot of fun. You can make these, like I said earlier, any color combination. So this is a really fun project to make. And they go together really quickly too. So it's just lots of fun to do. So we're going to cut 3 little strips, and these don't have to be the same size. In fact, probably better if they aren't all exactly the same width, and I don't think mine are. I'm going to cut these two down just a little bit. I want them to be more red stripe than the other two colors. Then we just lay this on the side, and yeah, ignore the fact that I didn't get my pasta machine clean, and there's glitter on here. I was doing some Valentine crafts that weren't miniature the other day with glitter. I have glitter everywhere. In fact, kind of funny, my son was complaining because his cat had glitter all over him. His male cat had glitter on his feet when he came out of here the other day. So I glittered the house. That's okay. It comes off eventually, right? Alright, so we've got that on there, and when you first start, you'll have to kind of compact it on. It's okay if they're not straight. You won't notice they're not straight, and if you look on here, these aren't perfectly straight lines either. So, and when you first start rolling, it's going to be very lumpy feeling when it rolls because of the strips, but they'll work down and become smooth pretty quickly, and it will just round out. And we roll, and we roll. Now if you don't want to roll as far, you could make some sliced candies too. If you wanted to, you could take, as this gets down a little further, this will be a little too big yet, but you could make some, just slice it and make some candies as far as that goes. But I like to, as it gets longer, if it gets, it gets longer, it gets harder to handle, so it's a good time to cut it. And sometimes you'll find that the ends will do like this one did, where it just tears apart. Don't worry about that. That can just go in your scrap clay. It's so little clay, it's not worth fussing over. Just, I have a whole bag of scraps of clay that have, ends of stuff I've done and stuff, and I dig those out and use them sometimes when I'm trying to figure out how to make something. Cut it half again, keep working it out. We're not concerned about what the stripes are doing at this point. We're just getting this skinny enough to work. And I know that I want this to be not much more than probably 1/4 of an inch, although these pops come in all sizes. I mean, you can get them like huge, like dinner plate size in some candy stores. So we might go a little bigger than this than what the scale would be for this one, but not a lot. Okay. And the end won't twist perfectly, so cut the very end off. Now the trickiest part is going to be getting that started so that it makes a nice circle. And then you're just going to roll it up. And that's probably, oops, that's the wrong side of my blade, about where we want to be. Now, cut a piece of wire. And I like to cut my wire long at this point and then cut it down later after everything's baked. It's just easier. Now go in about where that ended. It'll kind of help to seal that end and kind of support the sucker on both sides. There we go. And we have a twisty pop. So I'll make a couple more of these. I'll get these baked off and then I'll be back. Alright, they're all baked off and ready to go. Now obviously on the same size stick you could make a Barbie size. Just go a little bigger. Make these about double size. Now I am going to probably make the sticks about yay long. That wire is hard to cut. But there we go. We have a little lollipop. Let me trim the rest of these sticks up. Personally, this time I am not going to coat them in any kind of a finish because once you unwrap these, they're not all that shiny. Oops, that one fell apart. I'll have to glue that one back together. No biggie. But I'm not going to finish these with a shiny coat on them because when you look at these unwrapped, they're not all that shiny. The shininess you see now is just the wrapper. And that's one of my pet peeves in Dollhouse food is people that put a really shiny finish on everything they make. That ruins the reality so much. Put these here so I don't forget. And to fix this, I'll just dip the handle into some 527 cement and stick it back in there. But let's see if I can get the camera down closer. So, oops, wrong way. So you guys can see what they look like. But there they are. Little Valentine color suckers for the kids that live in your dollhouse. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Check the blog post. I'll put some more photos up on there and hopefully I can talk to you a little bit more about the project. Be sure and find us on Facebook. If you haven't liked us over there, come on over and join the conversation. That's a fun place to meet. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.